sometimes it's uncomfortable to talk about ourselves as animals. But ultimately, we are bound by the same rules and the same forces of nature that all animals are. And I think looking at things like this gives us some perspective into our own behaviors and into why we do some of the things we do. It's important to me as a behavioral biologist to look at these things from an evolutionary standpoint and a biological standpoint, because it allows us to understand some of the mysteries of our own behavior. If we don't look at these behaviors and try to understand where do they come from, why do they exist, then if we don't really understand that, then we can start to blame people for things that aren't their fault. You see what I'm saying? If we don't understand the biology and the science behind things, it's very easy to say, oh, it's your fault that you act this way. Or it's your fault that you're in this condition. Well, no. It's our biology. Much of what we do, in fact, I would say that most of what we do is driven by our own biology. And if you look at, in this country, we're talking about resources. In this country, the highest rate of obesity in the country is in this little town along the Mexican border. Has anybody heard about this? There's a little town on the Texas-Mexican border. And there's a group of people who live there who have the highest rate of obesity in the country. And it's interesting because these people originally were from these mountains in Mexico. And they lived up in a mountainous environment with very low resources. They lived in this area of very low resources for thousands of years. And what happened was they evolved, they adapted to low resource environments. They adapted to very, very low calorie diets. Now, that part of that population moved down from that mountain environment and is now living in the United States, where we have Burger King and McDonald's and lots of high calorie foods. And they are so well adapted to making efficient use of every calorie that they get that it just goes straight to storage. And that's not their fault, folks. It's not their fault, it's their biology. And what I told you about why we crave sugars and why we crave fats and why we crave big meals is because of our biology. It's because our ancestors had inconsistent meals coming in. So when we had the chance to capitalize on high-calorie meals, we want it. And we want it all. You know, we want that whole cake.